JC from Real and Simulated Wars. The Russian forces, in addition to their intervention in Belarus, with multiple exercises, have been conducting exercises in Abkhazia, in the Black Sea region. This is a picture of the story from the Russian government. I believe it's the Ministry of Defense. A link will be provided in the description of the video. The thing is that right now it looks like the Russians are training the Abkhazians to how to use land forces to destroy naval assets. And well, this is something that we have wrote about, and this is an image of the sister simulator command modern operations. I wrote a story. There's a blog story of how to use this concept of island fortresses can be used to, you know, exploit the abilities of land forces against naval assets. So this is an exercise. Don't expect anything exciting. I have a series of targets here. So what I'm going to be doing, trying to imitate the Russians, it is to destroy these naval targets using land forces. I have a demi company of T-72 tanks, and I have some artillery too, according to the description in the Russian government website. They were using, in addition to this, ATGMs and also a variety of helicopters. In this case, the real-life counterpart used the Ka-52 Alligator. I'm just using the Ka-50. So this is a situation right there. You see, pretty silly. Those are my tanks, and right now I'm there providing them, moving them through the coast, and we have that S-30. It's not even a battery. It's just 3 guns that I have available. No ATGMs right now because, well, I don't know. I just wanted to try this really very easily. So, as you can see, I'm using the Ka-50, and the Ka-50 can acquire naval targets. Right now I cannot lock into it because it's a bit distant. It can detect them. It has some issues when there is fog, and of course it cannot do it during night. I suppose the Ka-52 has infrared detection, which is way better. So right now what I am doing, I'm just creating these targets and sending them to the memory. If we would have any type of data link with the land forces, that could be great, because they could be directed towards them. But in this case that is not possible. So that's a bad situation they are happening. But nonetheless, what I'm doing right now is providing a series of marks, and this is an abridged version. You see the action over several minutes of action, just condensing in a few seconds right there. If you can wait like 5 minutes and mark the target and obtain a series of marks, which is great, and you can calculate from there the general direction of the convoy of the target, and you can also calculate their speed with certain limitations, because, you know, laser acquisition at these ranges and using this naval environment is not that accurate. I have found out while firing my own missiles at these ships. Sometimes they do miss very seriously. So what I'm doing right now, I'm gonna try my artillery onto them. These targets are moving, but nonetheless I want to try. And what I'm doing, I am using the data entry mode with the PVI 800. So I provided the target there. And one of the things that you need to be completely sure, I send the target right there, And as you can see, I was at this point I was having some sort of problems there, and the target is blinking right now, which is great. You have to make sure using the PVI 800 that well, you know that you're marking using not your own position, but rather the position in the Shkval, the target position that is being marked by the targeting system. That's very, very important. Otherwise, you will have, in this case, some shells raining on top of your Ka-50 helicopter. Not a good situation at all. So I just click it. As you can see, I have complete fog of war. I don't know the position of these ship, so I have to manually enter the target position. I'm going to provide the radius. This is just for try. I want to see if my guns can shoot on the sea. I believe that option it is just to get a fire mission complete confirmation, and then we'll have to go on a lapse of time. Of course, you have to wait. It doesn't happen automatically. Just after a couple of minutes of aiming, the S300 time lapse provided there is you know, takes 2 minutes for them to aim and probably acquire the target, and then the shells are flying right now. This is in real time, and they will start falling onto the Black Sea. You can see we can acquire the targets. Oh, there goes one shell, which is great. You can also use this Shkval to see them, but you see they will fall within a radius, but it's very difficult to predict. These ships are moving approximately at 11 knots or something like that. So in 2 minutes you have to make your calculations, but I wouldn't be surprised if we miss like 90% of the shots. So this is a limited fire mission. We're going to call it suppressive fire or whatever. But as you know, these targets are not able to move. So in the meantime, I also routed the tanks to move towards the coast. And right now, what was happening, you can hear the faint sound of the guns. I cannot see them. So I will start to move my helicopter back and forth and to the sides to try to see where these tanks are. I mean, if this could be real life, I would be very, very concerned. I am a kind of low level right now, and you know, those petals of the sabot rounds can be, if they're firing sabot rounds, I don't know. All I can say is that according to the things that you will see a bit in the, oh, there you go, there was an impact over there, right there. One target is down. Let's put the Shkval there. Let's take a look. Oh yeah. Oh, tank. All the tanks are hitting them big time, which is great, and it is kind of a strange feeling to have, you know, one of these steel beasts shooting at the ship. But hey, all in good fun. So you will see now some sort of maneuvering, trying to put the helicopter in the back of these guys. But you can see the repeated sounds of the main guns blasting off. And the restriction, of course, in the use of this, it is that, well, you have to be really, really close to the ships. So it is only when the ships are kind of trying to debark. Now, if you read the article, the Russians have trained with the Abkhazians in this technique with the excuse of interdicting terrorist shipments of ammunition or supplies, which is kind of very strange thing to hear or to read. I know that Abkhazia has a, at least 3 or 4 factions within their territory. I don't know how they supply, but what it is a bit disturbing for me, it is that this concept of, area denial, or it's kind of area denial. I don't know even if to call it like that, because it's not a particular naval force. But it is clear that Abkhazia doesn't have a navy, which makes you think, well, the Georgian navy is pretty much non-existent right now. But what is their aim? What they're trying to accomplish with this? Oh, there are tanks. These are regular T-72s. In the article, they mentioned that the Russians have used the improved T-72s. I believe the T-72B3s. I believe. And well, the reason you see some pauses in the shooting, it is just because the targets may be out of range. Look at the formation of the tanks. I set them to be in a linear formation, kind of a Napoleonic line. Didn't work out very well. It turns out that maneuvering this company, which is the essential type of Russian-style tactical atom or minimal unit to use, doesn't work very well. I mean, it's a lot of work to move tanks in formation in real life. I believe that if you have played Steel Beasts online with customers, with your friends, you will see that it's kind of difficult. It's an art. It takes a lot of drill. There's another impact there. The tanks continue to shoot, which is great. This is a bit later. I am kind of abridging this version. I just wanted to show some additional hits like this one. You see, it takes a few rounds to sink one of these transport ships. They are unarmed. They cannot shoot back. So my T-72s are pretty much protected. They don't have any risk on them. Boom, there goes a main gun. In the article there is a lot of mention about camouflage and fortified positions and concealed positions. Bit hard to find in DCS World. The world itself is like featureless. Like right now over there you see it's perfectly flat, which may correspond to real life, but the vegetation is just tall grass. So the tanks, you can see them from a mile with the naked eye. Another hit over there. And it will continue for a while. Just maneuvering my helicopter to be in a good position. Shooting continues. You have seen that main gun firing, and that's a hit. Boom. I have used the Viker missiles from this very helicopter against those ships. Surprise, surprise, may take a full load of Vikers to sink one single ship, so I abandoned the idea. Of course, this is DCS World, and I needed to fly something, so I don't have the Ka-52, which probably has better detection and data link capabilities compared to the Ka-50. It's a beautiful sound of my guns going off. It's pretty much like shooting fish in a barrel. But that was not the purpose of this. Of course, in real tactical situation, you would have this. You would have to move these tanks to the appropriate position for interdiction. It would take a lot of work to make it real and to execute it properly. In particular, you know, that blazing speed that tanks are supposed to have. Well, not so. You know, of course they can do more than 11 knots or 14 knots or whatever the speed of these transports are using, but it's not instantaneous, and you have to think it over, because all of a sudden these guys can change course and they will be inaccessible for us. So there is a lot that can be done and can be kind of converted into very funny scenarios, but the concept itself appears to be sound, and I am glad that it's working in DCS World. There we go, we'll transition to the next step, because the tanks can be left pretty much alone doing their job over there. There is no reason to basically stay here. Look at those billows. This is just a massacre of transports. I have tried this with fast boats, the ones that the insurgents have, what I call the insurgent navy, and the tanks can hit them even when these fast boats are moving at a high speed, almost like a flank speed. It actually works pretty fine. But nonetheless, this is just to show you the tanks shooting at the ships. So now we'll need to go and take care of the second part of the exercise, which is neutralizing the position where these weapons were supposed to be unloaded. We have set up a series of targets at the nearby position to practice targeting with the S3 self-propelled artillery, and that's what you will see in a few seconds. So I just transition into it. So it's fast forward time. I'm searching for the insurgent position. They are supposed to have some smaller boats waiting to unload, and I'm using the Abris just to find out where they are. And yes, I see my boats over there. There is a very distinctive geographic feature over there, which is like an inlet. And we have 1, 2, 3 fast boats. So what I'm gonna do to direct the fire to them using my S3s, it is just to remove that target over there, and I'm gonna just use click and shoot, because I don't need to be worrying about the position. I put a very generous radius for the fire emission, and I'm gonna give them a lot of rounds. Oh, what happened there? Maybe reduce a little bit. Now let's just leave it as it is, and fire. So again, you have to wait for this. I'm just showing you the condensed version of the guns shooting at these targets. These are the S3s. You see, they aim and they shoot so beautifully, making a loud bang. I really love it. These are, you know, salvation from the artillery, and they're gonna make a mess down there. I'm sure we'll be able to see some splashes. Of course, this is DCS World, using just the plain feature of, it's a DLC actually, the Combined Arms DLC, where you can command land units. So I have taken the role of commander, just because I'm directing fires and doing everything that is due to them. So there are some troops over there, and that's another splash. Have to be patient because it's indirect fire and it's not that precise. Now, if you don't have Fog of War activated, you can pretty much click on the target. You will get a very precise fire mission. It's almost like a laser guided bomb into them. But in this case, I was trying to put some challenge into it and see what happens. And as you can see, some shells are falling directly on the Black Sea. So it's kind of a compromise, you know. With this firepower, you have also the problem of dispersion and everything. So I'm trying to keep it a bit close to reality, as much as, you know, DCS World can provide. So the boats are still standing, and there comes the big boo-boo to them. They all go down like, oh my god, look at that, that's beautiful. Even the infantry is down, and there were a couple of trucks which I eventually destroyed using another independent fire mission, but I'm not gonna show you because otherwise the video is gonna be too long. So in a few seconds I want to transition into the returning to base and to provide my final remarks. There we go. It's going back into base. I have ordered my tanks and my self-propelled artillery back into the airport, and oh, at this point I was trying to use target point number 1 in the en-route mode to see if it works, and of course it works, because actually the target point is called a navigation target point, as you can see in the button over there. So funny thing. So let's go to the airfield. So in conclusion, this was a very silly and easy exercise. I just wanted to see how it works. very easy to direct fire. The self-propelled artillery not very good at hitting targets in the sea as any other target that is moving. Tanks, very precise. Main restriction that worries me is distance. And also what I'm a bit worried about it is and you can see it now, I'm trying to overfly, the tanks are on my left. And you see them in the distance, maybe not. But the thing that I'm worried about is how heavy they are, how difficult to maneuver they are, they get stuck, they get out of formation. I'm not complaining about DCS. I honestly sometimes, which I know effectively it is a defect in the AI, when these things do happen, I don't really mind. And the reason for that is because real life is a bitch. And these tanks, you know, they can throw a truck, they can get stuck in a silly patch of mud or something like that. Or some guy can get disoriented. Oh, that guy is still shooting. So I'm okay with that, but it is a reality. So probably the best size would be a platoon of 3 tanks, or multiple platoons of 3 tanks, and also resupplying. My other concern about the use of tanks, you see they're all stopped right there. You see them in the road. The other thing that I'm a bit worried about it is how to keep up with the ships, which is funny to say because if you compare the speed of both, tanks are so much faster. Yet still, they have to navigate through these roads and a lot of things can happen. So it will have to be a very clever use of these assets. I'm trying to wait for the tanks, but finally I just gave up and went back to the airport. There they are, pretty much fragmented formation right now, but that's just the way it is. Additional things to consider about this, it is of course knowing and detecting these naval targets. Fortunately, for the Abkhazians at least, I'm sure they have a lot of help from Russia. Naval detection is not that expensive. In general, it's affordable compared to other systems, so I don't think they're gonna have a problem. Now, why they need to practice this, that's a bit more concerning from a real life point of view. We'll have to be watching. I don't believe that, even when you may assume that the Russians are making a lot of noise around the world, like, you know, they tried. They support Armenia, which is kind of starting a high-intensity conflict right now. They are doing plenty of exercises in Belarus. It's like trying to recover the old frontiers of the empire, which I understand. You know, they always, it's not that I justify them, but I understand the need to have like a buffer zone. And on the other hand, let's take out the safe. On the other hand, there is the issue of international prestige and how to become a major actor in international politics, like what they are doing in Syria. What we may call power projection during the Cold War. Now we'll call it like the image projection, where they may want to change the perception that the world has of them. They want to resume that role of, major actor. So I just skipped the following action to this landing. I was just checking if my S3 self-propelled artillery was coming back, and they did. I also checked it on the tanks. Sorry for not showing that, but otherwise the video will become very, very long. So take a look at my blog entry about the use of land forces against naval assets. It was that entry is based on one scenario, DLC for command model operations, which is an excellent simulation of naval and air warfare. So it's worth to take a look at my website. The link is down there. And I will try to keep up with these exercises that the Russians are doing, and keep you posted about what can be done to, not analyze, because it's not professional level anything, just to inspect out of curiosity. So thank you for watching. We just landed. I will see you around. Thank you very much.